So let's start with the cheapest possible ingredients I can find to start fluid art journey. So this was $5 for 500 mils. I've mixed it 30-70, so obviously you're getting 30% more. I'm using my Montmartre paints, Studio Acrylics. I've got these great big tubs, but you obviously don't need those if you don't a prolific painter like me. I am mixing them in my normal way of 70%. Oh, sorry. I've mixed that with 70% of the glue and added 30% warm water, give it a good shake, and then I'm adding it to my paints. I will just show you the last one that I haven't mixed, how much to put in. Okie doke, all ready to go. So I showed you the paints that I'm using, and then I'll explain the colours as we're going along. So these 2 litre ones last me absolutely ages. I've had these well over 18 months. So if you're not as prolific painter as I am, then you really don't need them that size. So I've explained what I did with this very cheap. I have no idea how this one's going to turn out, because I believe I did use this glue 4 or 5 years ago, but I haven't used it in a long time, and mixed it with my warm water to make a pouring medium. So I've added nothing else to these. I've added no Floetrol, no nothing, but we will test them, and if it needs a little bit of Floetrol to make it good, then we'll go with a little bit of Floetrol too, because when you use it in tiny amounts, it's not too expensive. So, okay. This is my custom colour that I made up first, which was, it's going to be the deep berry delicious. It kind of looks brown there, but it will come out a real berry looking. This one I wanted really dark, like a real dark cherry. So I put the brilliant red, added phthalo blue, and then a good blob of black, and it really does make this really very delicious colour. You'll see it comes out when you, more so when you see the painting, but sometimes I don't do it as dark as that, and I don't do it as light as that. So as you see, I am just adding it bit by bit, mixing it until I get the consistency. I'm starting this particular first test that I'm going to do with a little bit thicker paint. I find if your paint's a little bit thicker and you're trying to get cells out of a cheaper paint, it's better to do it thicker than thin. But it'd be interesting to see if I get anything interesting. It might just be crack and be a complete, you know, no good. So just give it a good mix. And you see it's a little trace in there. I think I'm going to leave it that thick. If I'm pouring it and I find it's just too thick, then I'll add a bit more. So I'll set them aside, and I will get my cake cooling rack. And I've got 2 20 by 20 canvases, so I'll do 2 different pours. I might just start off with one. I might do the swipe, the pour and swipe, because the swipe will tell me if I'm going to get any cells at all from this cheaper paint. I don't expect to at all. I really don't. So I'm going to start off with the Wiggles method, which is literally, this is the medium yellow, is literally wiggling it over your canvas like this. It's quite therapeutic, and it's really nice thing to do with your grandchildren, children, or your friends, or even if you can get your husband to give it a go with you, it's quite fun. So this one is the brilliant red. This one is of Montmartre, brilliant red. And again, I'm going to just wiggle them. I'm going to really do this bright. So we'll just see how, if it works out at all. I'm pretty sure these paints, no matter what, would work out well doing dip, because you don't really need, you can do fantastic dip technique with poster paints or tempera paints. And so this is the orange. I always add a good blob of my yellow in the orange to make it even brighter. So keeping all these nice bright colours. And then I will add, this is just light purple. So you see the texture is just like leaving a trace in the cup. It's not thin, and it's certainly not thick. So I'm just hoping and praying it is the right texture for this. But I guess because it is cheaper paint, it's a trial and error, isn't it? You know, I'll put some white in there, because even if you're doing bright colours, you really need a dark contrast, I think, to make them pop. So that's why I've done this Berry Delicious. Actually, that's quite thick. I will need to give that a bit more of my homemade pouring medium. Wouldn't that be brilliant if that really, really cheap glue and water work just equally as good as the expensive ones that I use. So this is my Berry Delicious. Kind of looks brown here. Pretty sure it will come out more Berry Delicious-ing, I'm hoping. I'm actually going to use the black to swipe, so to see if I can get a nice swipe. So I'll do what I normally do, is just tilt it all over the canvas so it covers my canvas. And so the colours, what am I doing? I'll wash that afterwards, but and they just run over the edges so you get nice colourful edges too. I mean, I always love the bright colours. They're always cheerful and uplifting. So unless you're a sort of beigey, browny, muted colours, you can do those too. But this is for experimental purposes, for people that do write to me saying they just can't afford, you know, what, especially while they're beginning to do the, you know, money on expensive paints and pouring medium, or even though I always make up my own pouring mediums, usually out of whatever I buy. Okay, we're gonna try this black, which is exactly, it was the Montmartre black, and I mixed it only with the glue, but I want to just do a little test, and then I'll add some Floetrol to the black and see if just adding a little bit of Floetrol makes a difference to this cheap paint. So I'm going to, just a little soft plastic file divider. So let's give this a go. You usually can tell pretty early if you're going to get any cells, and there is like little champagne cells popping up in there, believe it or not. So I might just hit that with my heat wand to see if they come up, because that's no Floetrol, no nothing. Oh my goodness. You know what? They are little tiny champagne cells. Maybe if I don't do this as thick on the next swipe, I'm not gonna add any Floetrol to this side. I'm gonna see if I can, what I get just on its own. I might add Floetrol and do the swipe the other side, but that is coming up with little cells, so I want to be able to offer somebody a really cheap alternate to have a go, and especially if you're going to do it with children as well. So just using this little piece of soft plastic file divider, and I'm getting some little champagne cells. So I'm not sure if I'm putting the black on too heavy. Let's turn this around. Look at those little cells coming up. I don't think I'm going to add any more, and I'll try swiping it. So maybe I might have put the swipey colour on too thick. So we'll see what we get. But they are coming up, and they're coming up in really lovely gems, gem-like effects. Mm. Well, considering it is such a cheap way of mixing for acrylic fluid art, I will bring you down closer, but we'll give this a hit. I'm going to try my butane torch. I would much prefer anyone use a heat wand because it's not dangerous, and it is you find these, they're called embossing torch. They just heat, they don't blow your paint. But I just want to try the butane because when I first started I used to use this, and it used to get what I called my Gilly clusters, but I find them very dangerous, so I don't recommend. But sometimes brings up a lot more cells than just a heat torch, but it's not really making any more difference than my heat torch did from this early. Nah, it's not making no more difference than my heat torch did. You just have to make sure you put that somewhere to, I think I've used too much. Anyway, that is still really lovely in the effects. It's just that I've used too much dark. But what I can do to alleviate that and to make it beautiful, of course, is add in a balloon kiss here and there. So let's do this. Just a balloon with air in it. It hasn't got water or anything. You can, if you've got your paint consistency correct, you can press the balloon down quite firmly. So give it a good press. OMG, just look at that. Wow. And even the balloon has got cells in. Oh, that is, for really cheap materials, that's blooming lovely. Look at that. I don't think, oh, look at that. Yes, you can actually transfer that onto a piece of cardstock or another canvas. Easy, easy lemon squeezy. It's getting really nice effects around the edge of this. Might try I've just got a balloon that's deflated, so I'll just press it into the center. I always find that gives then more definition. That is lovely. I don't want to do too much because I want to bring you down and have a look. Oh my goodness. Look at that. How beautiful. It really does look like fireworks in the night sky. Really cute. And this sort of looks like a sunset my way. I'll bring you down so you can have a look. That's it. That is for a really cheap materials. I think you would be happy if you created that for the first time with cheap materials that I've used today. So I think that is pretty good. I'll bring you down. It's very lovely. Look at this. I mean, this here, it looks like an ocean with the sort of the sun that's gone down, like a sunset. But it's not laden with cells, but they're quite well formed, very cute. Got a little grub in there. It's pretty amazing what shows up. Look on there. So I think if I didn't do the swipe so thick, I would have got even more cells. So there you go. Not one bit of silicone, not one bit of Floetrol, and that's the effect you get. So very cheap, very accessible to anyone. And I believe using the Montmartre poster paints, which are even cheaper again, you would get the same results. So there you go. Okay, we'll go on for the next test. I think for the next one, I will do a dip because they're very easy for beginners. And I believe this is the right consistency of the paint. And because I'm doing a, you know, experimental on a cheap alternate, you need to be able to do something simple technique for beginners, which I find the dip can definitely be. So, without further ado, I'm trying to eat a biscuit and drink my coffee and paint, because that's how I really enjoy myself. And believe me, I have definitely dipped a biscuit in paint in the past, so got to be careful, haven't I? Rightio. I'm going to start with this purple, and I don't know if you watch when I do dips. I like doing the chevron, just like a random V. You can certainly do wiggles with some of the paints, wiggling your paint here, there and everywhere, which I like doing, but you seem to get a really nice shape for whatever reason if you do chevrons. So this is carmine, it's sort of a pinky red. Ooh. So like V's, sort of creates like a feather effect. Doing the dips in those very bright colours that I used first, they really always come out lovely. So nice. I'll go the bright orange, need to give it a pop in here. Do the V's. It's just the way I've done this, and I always get these nice feathery effects from the dipped canvases, whether I do a dip on tin foil or canvas to canvas, you get the nice feathering effect. Now you always need to add a really dark contrasting colour in there, I find, to make it pop, but I'll do some yellow. I'll do the wiggling because I want it a nice bright. So I will try and put a link in the first comments too to dip videos, because they're very easy for beginners if you are a beginner, and I'll put a link to the other starting from scratch, meaning how you prepare your canvas and everything. It's like everything you need to know for fluid art. And this is this Berry Delicious. Ooh. So now, it's got plenty of paint on there because I've got to squidge it out all over the sides. And remember, it's paint that's been made up very economically. You can always scrape up your paints at the end, put them in a cup and just use them as a base colour for something. So I'm going to use a second canvas to dip today. So it's canvas to canvas dip. And this is all I'm going to do, is just... Oh, now I've collected all the paint off my... Never mind. Is just press it nice and firmly on there and literally squidge. You know, you can do it quite firm. As long as the paint's the right consistency, you'll get a good transfer. I should have worn my gloves, but I didn't. I did at first, didn't I? And then I forgot to put them back on. So just give it a good press so that paint, you know, comes out basically over your edges. But if your edges are not covered, don't worry, because you can always fix those when the thing is finished. So you can also do this, flip your canvases over, so oops, you make sure that the paint, oh gosh, I just hope I haven't muddied it up. Just make sure that the paint is, this is a slippery little sucker. Gosh, blimey. Oh my goodness, now what am I doing? I'm saying these are so easy, and now because I've got the canvas is so slippy, it's not so easy to hold on to. Here we go. Oh, that's quite dark. My bright colours there, but still, that's very nice. I probably should have used less of the purple, but that's still very nice. So what I need to do here is whiz over with my heat wand it's even coming, this is it, it's even coming up with cells in a dip without any Floetrol. And I don't usually get cells in a dip. Oh my gosh, wow. It's cute as a button. Bit too much dark, that's my fault. I shouldn't have gone too crazy with the dark that first purple, actually, that one is. But I'm going to use little teeny tiny balloon because I got some paint missing along here, so I will kiss in there to transfer some paints to area. So you can keep kissing in your paint till I bring up those nice colours that I know are there. Look at that. Wow. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. I need to go over those edges. Bring up some, oh, lovely little balloon kisses in there. That's very cute. So you can keep pressing in the same one if you've got too much paint on there, and it'll bring those colours will pop through. So at first it might look muddy, but then you wipe off your balloon so you don't muddy the paints, and then you see these lovely, that one I can see that hasn't got much colour under there. Oh yeah, it's coming up. So, but just keep wiping your balloon in between your kisses because it can muddy up your paint. This side has gone cell crazy, but this is the side that I layered the first amount of paint down on, and so there'll be a lot more paint on this side, but I'm pretty shocked with this reaction. Is really lovely. And yeah, when you kiss down into it, it's bringing up all those lovely colours that you know are under there. But it's quite dark. Probably if I was doing it again, I'd definitely think about not adding so much colour. But like, that is a really good result with really cheap, economical paints. Beautiful. I'm going to bring you down and have a close up of that one. That's so nice. Look at these. Look at the effects in there. And that's got no Floetrol, no silicone. It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, look at that flower there. You would never be able to draw or paint those effects. Well, I wouldn't. So it is, yeah, a lazy artist's way. See the feathering effects that I believe is more so from that chevron. So I just allowed a little bit of white in there and just balloon kiss white on its own because I just think the colours didn't transfer so much through on that purple. But I'm really pleased with that. So I hope that gives you, you know, other cheaper, more economical choices to give a go. If you're in Australia, obviously you can find this very easy. It's at our Kmart store. The craft clear glue. Yeah, it's so cheap. I will definitely be giving that a go for sure. I think I'll try a Dutch pour next and a ring pour and see how we go. But for today, that is it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back soon. I'd like to tell you, if you're feeling sad, lonely or depressed, please ring a family member or a friend, or if that isn't available to you, then certainly a helpline. Okay, until next time, bye for now.